and Jai Shri Ram. If he asks us on his way, we'll be in about next 10 minutes. So in the meantime, we'll continue with bhajans. Shantaji, you already sing? Okay. Satyaji, you sing? You want to sing? You sing? Megan? You need to sing along to me now. How many guys sing? Get the sound ready. Check 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, check.
Hare
Let's give Pitaji a round of applause. Now we're going to listen to Megan. We have a little two records that we're going to listen after that. Okay. Come move up here, please. Thank you so much.
Shri Krishna Vasudevaya Hare Paramatmane Pranata Krishnashaya Govindaya Namo नाम है तेरा तारनहारा अब तेरा दर्शन होगा जिनकी प्रतिमा इतनी सुंदर वो कितना भगवन्तोस् तस्य त्वमेव त्वमेव्या कविनं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव सेवन्तिका बकुलचम्पकपाटलाब्जे पुण्यानना बेल्लप्रवाल तुलसीदलमञ्जरी त्वां पूजयामि जगदीश्वर परमेश्वर बोलो उमापति महादेव की जय। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्यावर रामचंद्र की जय। धर्म की जय हो, अधर्म का नाश हो, प्राणियों में सत्य भावना हो, विश्व का कल्याण हो। गौ माता की जय। हर 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 महादेव।
Please give him a round of applause. And that's right, a lot of people saying, a doctor? Yeah, he's a doctor. He's a doctor, believe it or not, this young man. And look how handsome he is. Isn't he handsome? Should I say why? Okay, I'm not going to say why. He's very handsome because today he's in the ass. That's why. So, Mohanlal Narine followed a long line of Pandits. His great-grandfather was a Pandit Balkaran Tiwari, who arrived in Guyana from India when he was a little baby. Pandit Mohanlal, dad, as you all know, the Dhamacharyaji, the state of New York, not only for this mandir alone, but the New York State Dhamacharya. So please give him a round of applause. I didn't give him that title, the state of New York gave him that title. So he's the Dhamacharya of the state of New York, Pandit Mohanlal Narine, who you all know, and all know that he is so versatile in all our scriptures. And now you're going to see the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. So we got a special surprise when he finishes, you guys tell me. So I'm not going to read all of this whole presentation, this introduction. I'm just going to leave it half for tomorrow. Now, Pandit Mohanlal, as you all know, he is versatile. You can see how versatile he is. Follow the footsteps of the Dhamacharyaji. Please, devoted friends, I give you our Dhamacharya for tonight, Pandit Mohanlal. Please give him a round of applause. Vyas Mataji. Thank you.
Let's all clasp our hands as we join you a few moments proud in prayers to the feet of the Divine Lord, Shri Krishna Bhagavan. Adorations unto Thee, who is the Son of Vasudeva, who is that supreme all-pervading entity and the lover of Srimati Radharani. Unto Thee, who is the Master of the Gopis, who is the friend of the distressed and the very source of all creation. We meditate on that transcendent reality, who is the primeval cause of all causes, who from all universes arise. We meditate on that eternal, effulgent Lord, who is the true source of knowledge. Through you, Prabhu, by your limitless mercy, we seek the absolute truth to free us from this material world and seek refuge in your transcendental abode. Om Shri सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणे विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिं भवतु मे सदा या पुण्येन तुषारहारधवल या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डला या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतचन्द्रा प्रभृतिः देवे सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती नित्यविद्यावहारं शङ्करो भण्डे श्रद्धा विश्वरूपिणो यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धस्वं ॐ गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वर गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलं जयते यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते हरि करुणाश्चैव नास्त्यैव नास्त्यैव गतिरन्यथा हे गोविन्द हे गोपाल हे First of all, I want to give my ovations and gratitude to my guru, my mother and father. Of course, my dad being our Dharmacharya, Pitaji Narine. Because of them, we're here today. And we hope that, or I hope at least, that the message will be a useful one so we can all be able to put into use. I'm not used to seeing my dad being the Yakarta. I'm also always used to seeing him being the Yas. And so this is kind of a weird situation for me, but nevertheless, it is always most welcomed to be here in his presence and all of your presence as well, as we embark upon this journey as the Master of Ceremonies, Uncle Pabu has been telling you, this 3-session Gita Yagna. I also want to extend a warm welcome, pranam, sitaram, to the Pandits here, all the dignitaries, Pandit Loknath Sakul, as long as his son, Pandit Vyasakul. We have with us Pandit Ganesh, Pandit Sanjay, Pandit Nival, Pandit Navin, Pandit Dhiranraj, and Pandit Vinesh as well. And all the other Pandits who are coming from near and far, my special pranam, sohagatam to all of thee. And of course, a very special welcome to all the mothers, fathers, brothers and sisters, all of you here this evening, because without your presence, there simply is no yajna to be held. If we were here and nobody was in the mandir, then this yajna will be fruitless. And so we must acknowledge all of you for taking the time to come here Friday nights, on a busy Friday night in the middle of summer, to come here and join with us in this 3-session Gita Yajna that this family, the Narine family, my dad and his siblings are sponsoring in honor of their loving parents, my Aja and my Aji. Who sadly, my Aji passed away about a year ago. And of course, my Aja, close to 6 years back, and they're no longer with us. They're no longer here on this earthly plane, but nevertheless, we always keep them alive in our memories. And we always hope that when the time comes, as they have left this earthly plane, we hope that when the time comes, we too can reach a ripe age like both my grandparents did. And indeed, my dear brothers and sisters, they were two very special people living on this very special planet that we call Earth. We are very indebted to them for everything that they've done, and we will hear a little bit more about them throughout the yajna each day as well, as we remember the legacy that they left behind. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, first of all, let me start off by saying that the world that we live in, this very earth that we live in, is considered to be a very special and one-of-a-kind place. In fact, there's none like it. If you were to throw countless amounts of money, billions upon billions of dollars, and trying to find and develop extraterrestrial or even extraplanetary life, and even if successful to be had in those ventures, nothing can compare to Bhumata, to Prithvi Mata, to Mother Earth. It is unique in every single way, and each of us have been born into this planet to live a life that hopefully others will want to emulate one day. Firstly, if you analyze the Earth, the planet, you'll notice that there is coexistence that exists. Coexistence in the sense that 8.4 million different species, all of these different species, they have to coexist and share one planet, PtMohan. And second, when you look at this earth, you draw so much inspiration from it as well. By just seeing what Mother Nature has to offer, you become inspired to live your best life and to make the most out of your time here on this planet. The earth also teaches us many life lessons. As the tree grows, it soars to new heights. And with it, its many branches and many fruits as well. And the more it gets, the further lower it bows to the ground. And if you were to dig a little bit deeper and to analyze your surroundings for a little bit longer, you will quickly begin to understand that at the core of it all, the core of this world, the core of this universe, the core of this life on earth, being mundane and materialistic in many ways, it is filled with one word. I'll give you a hint. It's one word, but it means two things. Who knows what the word is? One word is a riddle. One word means two things. It is dualities. The world that we live in, my dear brothers and sisters, is filled with dualities. Life as you know it is dual in nature. From the moment you wake up in the morning to the minute you go to sleep at night, what are the two dualities you experience? Sunlight and moonlight. You're experiencing brightness and darkness, day and night. That's the very first duality you experience in life. Furthermore, throughout life, you'll be having moments of happiness and rejoice, but at the same time, you'll also be met with great sorrow and regret. There are times when we will feel like we're on top of the world, high in the sky, on cloud 9. And other times when you'll feel like you're in the deepest and darkest of pits. The universe is filled with dualities. It is filled with dualities of this kind. In the world, they are the rich and then they are the poor. They are the healthy and then they are the sickly. They are the righteous and then they are the wrongdoers. They are the leaders and then they are the followers. They are devotees of God, and then they are disbelievers of God. So you see here, the world is filled with dualities. And even in our interpersonal relationships as well, they abide by this universal law of dualities. For instance, in a marriage, there is husband and wife, male and female. Among siblings, there are brothers and sisters. And among parents, there is mother and father. And today, my dear brothers and sisters, today we embark on this special journey afforded to us by this Gita Yagna to honor the lives of a very special mother and a very special father, my Aja, my Aji, and of course the mom and dad of the family, the Shotas that are sitting here today. And you know, just as Lord Shiva is always with his Parvati, and just as Shri Ram is always with his Sita, and as Sri Hari is forever with Lakshmi Devi, and as Srimati Radharani is always tethered to the loving Shri Krishna, so too was my Aja and Aji, Owad and Chandra and Narine. They were always recollected in togetherness. Whenever I call Aji name, I automatically think of Aja. Never seen the two of them without each other. And when they were both alive, very seldom would you ever see them apart from each other. And you know, sometimes my Aji would want to take a little break from him from time to time. You know, he said her words, she said the man's getting scratchy. As you get older, you become more scratchy. And so in her bid to get some away time from him, she would plan out trips to come here to the States by herself. So she can hang out with her kids and grandkids. And when he would find out now, he'd get very upset. Because he couldn't bear, his heart couldn't bear to be separated from her. And his stomach couldn't bear that either. His heart and his stomach both could not be bared separated from her. Because he loved her so much. And you're talking that trip is about 2,000 miles from Venezuela to New York. And he didn't want to be even one single mile away from her. And so his heart couldn't handle that separation. And he would always find a way. Whenever she was coming to the States, he would find a way to get passage as well. Because he didn't want her to travel alone. And I'm sure that now that my Aji is there in the heavens, that he is very happy that she's there reuniting with him. He used to call her, her name was Chandra, but he used to call her Chandri, because to him, she was his moonlight. She was the light of his life. And you know, my Aja and my mom, the two of them, when they get together, are real jokesters. They used to lovingly tease her all the time. But my Aja always had a serious face on. I couldn't understand why. But the two of them are happily reunited there in Swartlok, in the heavens, where we know they're experiencing pure bliss and pure joy. But as you know, they say, one man's pleasure is another man's sorrow. And so when that dreadful day came, in the summer of 2023, almost a year ago, and we got the news that my Aji was no more, I've come to realize that amongst all the dualities of life, amongst every single duality you can think of, the one that is most difficult for us to grasp our minds around is that between life and death. That duality is very hard for many people to understand. And it's because of the simple fact that losing a loved one is never an easy thing. Death is not a new concept to any of us. We know that once you're born, you must die. The day will come when you have to leave this earth. No matter how much we understand this principle, we can never really truly prepare ourselves for something like death. And once the grief sets in, it can be debilitating for so many people. Some people can never get over the loss. And you know, many people here within the last year as well, we've lost so many people. I'm looking at the daughter of Ramaji, who unfortunately has left this world earlier this year. And you know, it's a very debilitating thing because you can never get that person back. That relative, the friend, the confidant, the co-worker, once they're gone, that's it. You can never, ever tell them how much you love them again. You can never tell them how much you miss them. You can't relive the memories with them, and you can't confide in them. You can't crack a joke with them. You can't seek advice. All of these things are completely forever gone. And truthfully, you don't have to wait for someone to die in order to feel this type of grief. Because sometimes you get the news that so-and-so person, all of a sudden they got struck with some sickness, or they have some terminal cancer or some terminal illness, or you yourself might be going through a rough patch, and where the end seems near, then we all grieve. We allow the grief to step in and occupy the mind. And grief, once it's there in the mind, once it takes lodging in the mind, it brings its friends with it too. You know, they stay there rent-free in the mind, they don't pay any rent, and they're able to stay as long as they want. And the first friend to join the grieving party, so to speak, is denial. And when you are in denial, firstly, you deny that anything is happening, any of this is happening. Because the truth is too difficult for you to face head on, so you go into the state of denial. And then, because you realize that you can no longer deny the truth, you begin to get angry. You begin to get angry and you're frustrated, and you blame everyone. You blame your friends, you blame your family, and even worse, you blame God. You say, God, why me? Why did you have to take my parent or my mother at this age? Why couldn't you let them live a little bit longer? Why did you have to take my friend? Why now? Why not wait? Why not give me some extra time? And so, out of anger, frustration, you start to play the blaming game. And you also try to devise a plan to use as a way to extend or get more time. And you use this bargaining chip, as you will, telling God that if you give me some extra time on this earth, then you know what? I'll make some extra time for you too. You make promises that you'll return the favor, but when you were young and healthy, or when they didn't find time for God, or when they were going great in life, everything was good and glorious, still no time for God. But all of a sudden, now that it feels like the world is caving in, now that it feels like everything they love is about to be lost, and the end is in air, now and only now do they suddenly think of God. But eventually, my dear brothers and sisters, we all have to come to terms with the inevitable, which is one day we will have to leave this world. Grief is something that every single one of us will experience in life. Some of us have already experienced it, some of them have experienced it more than one time, but it's something every single one of us will, in our lifetime, experience. And we can't allow it to consume us. Rather, we have to learn how to cope with it. But the question now becomes, well, how do you cope with grief? And of course, the answer lies in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And just to recap, in chapter 1, you see there's Arjuna. He's there in the battlefield. He is the great disciple of Lord Krishna, and he's about to engage now in this Kurukshetra war. You remember now that the war here is between the Kauravas, the 100 sons of the king Dhritarashtra, and the Pandavas, the sons belonging to the former king Pandu. And they are fighting, the Pandavas and the Kauravas, they're fighting amongst themselves, trying to remedy the injustice brought upon them, which is the Kauravas who so badly want to rule this crown jewel of the Kuru kingdom, the Hastinapur. And there on the battlefield, Arjuna, as he is about to engage in this war now, against the Kaurava, he's asking his dearest friend and his mentor, Sri Krishna, who is guiding his chariot, to bring him closer to the middle of the field so he can see exactly who the people are that he is about to engage in warfare with. And who does he see? Well, chapter 1, verse 26 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna tells us, Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hari, Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam PtMohan Acharyam Matulam Bhatam Putram Bhautram Sakundaka Swashuram Samudastaiva Sirayorayorapi Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam There in the midst of both armies, Arjuna begins to see his PtMohan, his Aja. He sees those who he considers his fathers, his brothers, his cousins, sons, grandsons, his mamu, his friends, and the so-called well-wishers as well. Now all of them are present on the battlefield, on the opposing army, in arms and ready to fight so that they can take this crown jewel of Hastinapur. And in seeing all of this, Arjuna, he immediately becomes in a state of disbelief. He instantly becomes overcome with grief and compassion. And he is in denial with what he is witnessing. This grief consumes him so much that he decides right then and there that he will forsake his duty. He will give up his dharma, and he will not fight. And instead of preparing, he is ready to forfeit the battle to allow Duryodhana and the rest of the Kauravas to rule the kingdom. Now, because for Arjuna, he was convinced that nothing good can come out of a war where he knowingly has to slay his kinsmen, who, by the way, are all varying manifestations of evilness. For him, he can never enjoy the kingdom and the spoils of war, since it came at the cost of his own family. With the overwhelming amount of grief, Arjuna becomes confused, as he does not know which is better, conquering the enemy or being conquered by the enemy. And so, in this way, he allows adharma, tyranny, and oppression, all that is wrong, all that is immoral, to be laden in the land of his kingdomship. And in this great state of grief and confusion, Arjuna now turns to his friend, turns to his mentor, turns to Lord Krishna, who will give him some very sound advice. Sound advice not only meant for him, but meant for all of us as well. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Ashocharan Ashochastam Pragyan Vedanta Bhashese Tata Sumna Avatam Sumsta Nanu Shochanti Vanditaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namo Namaha. The Lord says, O Arjuna, while speaking of learned words, you are mourning unnecessarily. For those who are truly wise, they don't grieve for neither the living nor the dead. Now you might think this is some pretty tough advice that the Lord is giving, right? How can you not grieve for someone you love when they die? But of course, the learned individual, my dear brothers and sisters, that person understands that the true nature of the human body is not actually this body. It is the Atma, it is the self. That is who we really are. Never was there a time, Lord Krishna says, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all of these things. And most importantly, nor in the future will any of us cease to be. Meaning that we are all beyond this duality of life and death. We are not this human body, we are the eternal soul. Arjuna here, he is grief-stricken just by the thought of seeing his kinsmen being slain on the battlefield, of them dying in war. And just like Arjuna, the Lord knows that we too will experience episodes of debilitating grief in our lives. Experiences that will shake us to our core, especially after losing a loved one. But he is reminding us all that we must come to this realization that this human body that we often lament over, this is not the true self. In the Srimad Bhagavad Gita again, in chapter 2, verse 22, Lord Krishna tells us, Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Hare. Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam This very popular verse, many of you have heard this, verse chapter 2, verse 22. Just as a person sheds old worn garments for new ones, so too does the soul give up an old useless body for a newer, more functional one. For the soul there is neither birth nor death. It has not come into being. It will not come into being, because it is eternal. You can't cut it. You can't burn it. You can't wet it. The winds cannot wither it away. It is impervious to the 5 elements of the world. And anyone who knows this universal truth, my dear brothers and sisters, they have no fear of death. In fact, they welcome death. No fear of death, because they understand that the Atma is eternal in nature. It is one and the same with the Paramatma, with Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself. And in this manner, the Lord instructs Arjuna to become aware of this universal truth, to shed these emotions of grief, and to carry out his prescribed duties, and to pick up his weapons and fight for righteousness, fight to re-establish Dharma, and to put an end to injustice. Now these are words to live by, my dear brothers and sisters, and trust me, I know it's easier said than done. It is difficult for us to put these words into practice because we, the soul, we are so attached to the body. What we see, we think is real. After all, seeing is believing, right? If someone was to tell you, I just went on this 5-star, all-inclusive, very expensive, lavish cruise to the Bahamas, you're going to say, yeah, right. Show me the pictures. I don't believe you. Amongst the youngsters, what they say? Pics or it didn't happen. Pictures or it didn't happen. And so seeing is believing for many of us. If someone were to tell you, I'm going to sell you some money by the end of the day, you're on the lookout for it. At the end of the day, 11:59 p.m., first thing you do, log into the bank account app, log in, and you're looking there for the money to hit the account. Because seeing is believing. No one just takes anyone on their words. Seeing is believing. We are so attached to the 5 senses that we have actually become subservient to these senses. And we are, this life as you know it, every opportunity we get, we're trying to fulfill these desires. For example, you all know who Taylor Swift is, right? Right? Yeah, you do. So, for example, if Taylor Swift has a concert coming soon, people have to go and they have to hear the latest song that she's producing. And that's even if you can get a ticket. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, by the way. I'm about. And so, in that way, you are a slave to the senses. The ears have to hear the latest hits from this artist. And some people, they have to go to the mall and treat themselves and buy nice things like Michael Kors bags and Michael Kors shoes because they have to feel fabulous. Because retail therapy is the best therapy. You have to feel, right? The senses here, they have to feel fabulous. And for others, they just have to go to the newest restaurant that's being opened up around the street because they have to taste, and hopefully they're tasting the delicious vegetarian options, vegetarian meals that's being produced there. You see, my dear brothers and sisters, what we taste, what we smell, what we see, we think of as permanent. We think all of these things to be real. But the purpose of the body and its faculties is not to serve the senses, but rather to allow them to aid us into a life of bhakti, and allow us to engage the senses in bhakti yoga so that we can ascend the ladder of spiritual realization. We should use these eyes to see the beautiful imagery of God. We should use these ears to hear Hari Katha, to hear the name, the glory, the story of Lord Krishna. We should use these hands to touch and feel the feet of the Lord when we're performing puja. And we should use the tongue to sing his name, and to taste and drink the sweet charan amrit that he's offering us. But instead, what has been gifted to us, to be used to elevate the soul, oftentimes is being misused as human body. The wrong types of food, the wrong types of activities, the wrong types of just about everything is being performed by this body. And when the time comes to leave the earth, indeed, there is cause for grief, because we have squandered this golden opportunity, and the soul now, taking on a new body in the afterlife, it takes on a new form in the afterlife. It will begin to suffer immensely for hundreds, thousands, or even for the vilest of sinners in entire Prayala for millions and millions of years. And only then, after expiating those sins, those karma, will they get the opportunity to get this human body again to uplift the soul. And the Lord here, He reminds us through Arjuna that there's only one guarantee in life. Only one. And that is, what's the only guarantee? Death. So you have to make the most out of the time here on earth. Make the most out of the body that you've been given, and do the most with it as well. Because one who has taken birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again if they are unable to seek or attain moksha liberation. So my dear brothers and sisters, when I think about it, I think about my Aji and Aji, and I think about the life they lived. I realized that towards the end of it all, they were prime examples of how we should live our lives. They made the most out of their time here on earth. They left behind a great legacy. They left behind 7 children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren as well. And they invested heavily in every single one of them. Every single one of the children they invested heavily in. For example, my chacha here, Dr. Dampo, because of the upbringing that he got, he is considered to be one of the most prominent members of this Indo-Caribbean society here in Queens, in New York City, because of the tireless work that he does for the people of this city. And then, of course, we have my dad, our Dharmacharya, and I can go on and talk about his glories and greatness. But because of the investment that my Aja and Aji put in him at a very young, tender age, he is what he is today. And he's spreading the name and the Lord. He's spreading Sanatana Dharma all throughout the country, all throughout the world, all different countries throughout the world. And so because they truly believe wholeheartedly that you only get one shot, let this life be the one shot you get to allow yourself to attain moksha. You must leave behind a life, you must live a life so that when you're long gone, people want to emulate what you've done. And today we're here to celebrate the life that they have lived. And of course, we also celebrate the contributions that they have given in this world. And my Baji and Aji, one thing that I realized about them, as the end was coming, they lived a very simple and a very neutral life. Neutral. Now, what does neutral actually mean? You know the word neutral? Neutrality? Neutral? Well, it depends on who you ask. But neutrality, living a neutral life, is the best life to live. Because living a neutral life, you are free from dualities. Now, you ask a professor of chemistry, you ask him, what does neutral mean? How can I live a neutral life? You go to your professor, you go to school, Ariane goes to school, she tells the professor, oh, Divya said I should live a neutral life. Tell me how I should live this neutral life. Well, in chemistry, this is the science of me. In chemistry, when something is neutral, it is neither too basic or acidic. Meaning, you give up all these acidic foods, all these things that cause burnt stomach and heartburn and all these things. You give up all that stuff, all the acidic and neutral stuff, basic things, you give up all of that. And the professor tells you, you should only stick to drinking water. Be like the Swami. Give up food and only stick to drinking water. Because water by itself is neutral in nature, neutral. And so he deduces by reasoning that if you give up all these acidic foods, if you give up all these basic foods, and you be like the Swami, and you only live on water, then the body becomes neutral, so therefore the mind becomes neutral. And then you say, well, Professor, I don't think that's how biology works. And so you're not satisfied with the answer. And so now you go to your friend, or you go to Uncle Kunji. Uncle Kunji here is an electrician. And to him, neutrality has a different meaning. He will tell you. When you look at when something's neutral, it means it has no net charge. Positive and negative cancel each other out, right, Uncle Kunji? See? That's neutrality. And so Uncle Kunji says, you know what? If you want to live a neutral life, then give up all these things that draw power. Give up all these things that require charge. Give up the iPad, give up the iPhone, give up everything. Give up the TV, give up the internet. But you tell him, Koji, this thing is too hard to do in this day and age. You can't do this. It's impossible. Not even the Amish people are fully, not even the Amish people can fully be off of electricity. And so now you finally decide to go back to the Mandir. And you ask the Vyas, what did he mean by living a neutral life, a life of neutralities? And this is answered in the Bhagavad Gita, as all of life's questions are being answered in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, in verse 56 through 57. The Lord tells us, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah Dukkeshwaram Vignamana Sukeshu Vikataspraha Vitaragavaya Krodha Sitadir Munir Uchate Ya Sarva Bhatrana Avishneha Tatha Prapaya Shubha Shubham Bhavinandati Nagveshti Tasya Pragya Pratishtata Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. And so Shri Now Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, it says, one who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or he who is not elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, from fear and anger, they are considered to be this Muni, the sage of steady mind. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may attain, neither praising it nor despising it. It is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. These people, they are living a neutral life. So in simplicity, in simple terms, neutrality means to train the mind to be neutral of the dualities of the world. If you get a promotion at the job, don't jump for joy. If you happen to lose your job, don't go crying either. Just be neutral. Thank God. Thank God for giving you the promotion, and thank God for also letting you be unemployed. Because sometimes it takes a necessary step in your life, like unemployment, to see your true potential. So everything that comes your way, you need to thank God. If you didn't get into your top school choices for college, thank God for that as well. Or if you lose your scholarship because you couldn't keep up the grades, one, study harder, and two, thank God for inspiring you to study harder. And in this way, my dear brothers and sisters, in every facet of life, you will neither wallow in sorrow nor rejoice in joy. You will always be thankful to God. In essence, you will be content with what you have and also with what you don't have. And this is something my Aji always used to say. She said you must always be content with what you have. You can't stretch your hand where it can't reach. You can't have too big up eye and want everything. This is something she always used to tell us. Her favorite line in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 26. Sometimes she would be like the Pandita, and she would give her sermon there as well, in the home, and I'd listen to her. And she would say, Patram Pushpam Palantoyam, yomi bhaktya prayachati. Meaning that if one offers me with devotion a simple leaf, a flower, or a fruit, or even just some drops of water, the Lord, He readily partakes in those items offered to Him with pure love and devotion. So she was essentially telling us that you don't need to have much in life. All you need to be is content, because the Lord is happy. He is content. He is content with whatever the devotee has to offer Him, as long as there is love and devotion behind the act. And the content devotee, my dear brothers and sisters, they're not wasting time chasing the newest fad. They're not wasting time lining up trying to get the newest iPhone or the games or whatever technology is on the market. Duryodhana, he was a man that he had to have it all. He was never content. He only want. He wanted to show off in front of everyone and make them see how powerful and how influential of a man he was. So what did he do? He invited the most powerful and influential person in the entire universe to his abode. He invited Sri Krishna to partake in dinner, a dinner service. At the same time, you had Vidur, who was the content devotee. He didn't have much, he was poor, but he was very content with whatever he had, whatever God gave him. And Vidur, he also wanted to invite Lord Krishna for dinner. And it so happens, sometimes you get invitation to go to 2 occasions on the same day, right? For instance, you must have another invitation to go somewhere this Friday, but you said you got to be here instead. And so the Lord now, he has to make a choice. Can he go to Duryodhana, where there's going to be hundreds of delicacies expertly prepared by the top chefs in all of the country? Or does he go to Vidur, who just has some sag, some bhaji? And even the bhaji is not all that great. The bhaji has holes from all the insect bites all over. So if you have the choice, who do you choose? To be honest. You're going to go to the all-you-can-eat buffet. That's right. And so, the Lord, of course, none of this matters to Him. How much you have or what you don't have, none of that matters. All He's looking for is prem, love, bhakti, devotion. And of course, He is Mahakal. He is the very keeper of time. If He wanted to, He could have went to both Duryodhana and Vidur. He could have split himself in that way and attended both dinner services. But on purpose, He chose not to go to Duryodhana. Instead, He went to the abode of Vidur, because Vidur there had everything that he was looking for. And to him, to Lord Krishna, that was the most tastiest sag he ever had. Even if it was hafa, it was still the most tastiest thing he ever ate, because it was laden with prem, love, bhakti, and devotion. As well, very well in the Ramayana, the story of Shabri, who was considered to be the lowest of the low in society, the lowest of the low. But through the grace of her guru, she got the favor that Sri Ram himself would come and give his darshan to her. And so what did she do every single day in preparation? She would eat the berries, she would juta the berries. Now if someone juta your food, you gonna eat it? No. If you go out to dinner and you find out the waiter who's serving your food, they juta the food before they bring it to the table, you're gonna eat it? Absolutely not. But you see, the Lord, He partook of this prasadam because it was filled with love. And it was the tastiest fruits He'd ever had, the tastiest pal he ever had, because He knew that the reasoning why she was tasting these fruits was to make sure that they were accessible and make sure that they were perfect for the Lord. And so the bhajan tells us, my dear brothers and sisters, that in life, there's only one thing that God is looking for. In life, we should only use prem, love, for it is the best way to serve and please the Lord. Sabse uchi prema sagai. So in conclusion, my dear brothers and sisters, the message is a very simple one, and I hope it was well received, and it is that we should be proactive in life. Be proactive and live a life of neutrality, because in doing so, you no longer become reactive to the dualities of the world. You see, we are living in a world where everything and everyone is on full display. We have a very hyper-aware society where the smallest things can impact your mood in a bad way. The mind easily can become disturbed, and sadness and grief is quick to occupy all of your thoughts, putting you in a state of depression that gives rise to a host of mental illnesses that can only drag the body down. So for your own well-being, put the message into practice, be content and be happy with what you have, because in doing so, you will secure one of the most valuable commodity there is in life, and that is peace. Peace. Peace of mind brings a peaceful home. Right? When everyone in the home has peace of mind, no one's arguing and fighting, the home is peaceful. And a peaceful home now makes for peaceful neighbors. And peaceful neighbors now, they constitute a peaceful society. And peaceful society makes for a peaceful nation. And peaceful nations, and all nations on earth are peaceful, then it is a peaceful world. And at the end of it all, isn't that what we all want? Peace. Right? You know, when someone dies, you say, rest in peace. They can rest in peace on earth when they're alive. I think they'll rest in peace when they die. Right? Because you don't even know, can't even fathom what the hereafter can bring. It's not like this life here is the end all be all. There's more to life, and we'll get into details as we progress in this Yagna. We'll get into more details of what exactly happens to the soul once it is no longer in the human body. And what kind of life, what kind of new body, what kind of new form it takes on. All of that we'll get into in the coming days. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, Bhakti Yoga, per the teachings of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, is the only way to secure peace. Chanting the name of God, enveloping yourself in bhakti and devotion to Him, you are able to grant yourself peace in every way. Have faith in God, trust in God, leave all your worries with Him, and be like Arjuna. Allow Him to guide you and show you the way to victory. So when the time comes to leave this earthly plane, as it will for all of us, as it did for Mataji and Haji, then we know that we will attain mukti, or liberation, as these two great souls have as well. And so, in conclusion, we'll chant the Hare Krishna mantra as we wrap up the sermon here this evening. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare
Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki, Vyas Maharaj ki. Thank you so much. You can feel the energy in the mandir, right? Please give him a round of applause. What did I tell you? Was I wrong? The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, right? Now, a little bit he talks about so many things, so I'm going to touch on one little thing. He talks about investment. Investment, right? Now, Pitaji invested in this young man here. As a little boy, he sees something in him, right? He sees something in him. And tell him that he must study the scripture. Guruji used to tell me the stories. He wants to go out and play cricket, he wants to go play ball, right? And he wants to go, if he didn't see that in him, he wouldn't become the person that he is today. And build this mandir, it's a domino effect. And people like Pitaji and so many different people could come to this mandir and graduated, sort of, and become what they are today, Pandit Ganesh as well. So it's a domino effect. That's what you call investment. You invested in Maktadan Paul as well. So, devotees and friends, once again, I do hope you enjoy your Vyas. This is only day one. Tomorrow is going to be more popular, more dynamic. And Monday, I want to see the Monday full. I want to see all of you up here. Today is like a reunion to see all the old members back here. Please give yourself a round of applause to be back in the Monday for such a long time. Now we're going to go on to our Charity.
Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Would you give her yes? He did an amazing job. Not because he's my son, but I'm sure all of you listened attentively to him like I did, and you admire his eloquence and his depth and understanding of the scriptures. So, certainly the justice to be here tonight. My dear brothers and sisters, I'd like to thank all of you who are here tonight, who will be coming for the next two sessions to grace us yesterday. Indeed, we are very, very grateful and we feel very humbled by your presence, especially those who come from far away, all from New Jersey, Pitaji and Mataji, all from New Jersey, and distant places from your own neighborhood. So, thank you very much for responding to our invitation. Now, for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to share a piece of history with you. And we're going to create a piece of history as well tonight. "75 years ago, 1949 was the year. This young 17-year-old young man was walking somewhere in a village which I don't know, probably which we will never know. And he heard the voice of this very sweet, melodious voice, female voice. And he was a young man who loved music. And instantly he was attracted by this melodious singing. And this was the song. This was the song. तू मेरा चांद मैं तेरी चांदनी तू मेरा चांद मैं तेरी चांदनी ओ नहीं दिल का लगाना कोई जिंदगी तू मेरा चांद मैं तेरी चांदनी ओ We shall be together in life. We shall be together in death as well. There are two birds there on that backdrop. And those two words mean something. There are two souls that are right now together again. साथ है गीना, साथ है मरना, उल्फत की है रीत, हाँ, उल्फत की है रीत। प्यार की मुरली हर दम गाए तेरी लगन की। प्यार की मुरली हर दम गाए तेरी लगन की। मेरा राग तू मेरे रागनी, तू मेरा चांद मैं तेरी चांदनी। नहीं दिल का लगाना कोई दिल लगी, कोई दिल लगी। नहीं दिल का लगाना कोई दिल लगी, कोई दिल लगी। And she said in this song, भूल न जाना रुते सुहानी, ये दिन और ये रात हो, ये दिन और ये रात। Never forget the beauty of this day and of this night when we shall meet. जब तक चमके चांद सितारे, देखो टूटे ना साथ। जब तक चमके चांद सितारे, देखो टूटे ना साथ। As long as the moon and the stars exist and twinkle in the sky, जब तक चमके चांद सितारे, देखो छूटे ना साथ। We shall never ever leave each other's company. And that female voice was the voice, she was only 14 and he was 17. And there and then, my dear brothers and sisters, Cupid worked his magic. And both of them could not resist these flowery arrows of love that pierced their respective hearts. It was love at first sight. In fact, love at first sound, or love at first song. And so this love story began with my mom and dad. Soon after, they would get married to each other. He was 18 and she was 15. 1950, they got married. And as they lived with each other, they continued to reminisce and they continued to enjoy the melodies and the movies that were released at the time. Movie like, for example, like Didar, remember that movie? And my mom would continue to sing to my dad, much to his pleasure and encouragement. And one of his favorite songs that she would sing to him, and he would also hum because he's not a great singer. ले जा मेरे दुमाए, ले जा पल के जाने वाले, ले जा मेरे दुमाए, ले जा मेरे दुमाए, ले जा पल के जाने वाले, ले जा मेरे दुमाए। जाकर बुला न देना, दिल से मेरी वफाएं, ले जा मेरे दुआएं, ले जा मेरे दुआएं। together. And one of the movies that they really liked was this movie, Mela, Old Mela. And my dad would hum this song after he came from the movie to her. This is what he would sing. Gaye jageet milan ki apni lagan ke sajan ghar jaaye. Gaye jageet milan ki jo apni lagan ke sajan ghar jaaye. Kahe chal ke nainon se gajri काहे भरते जल भूमि में सुनी साजन की जगनी भरे पिया है जल गाते हैं गीत बदन के तेरे दर्शन के सजन घर जाना है गाए गीत मिलन के अपनी लगन के सजन घर जाना है गाए गीत मिलन के अपनी लगन के सजन घर जाना है. 1952, first child came. I don't know how my dad and mom did it, but I can't explain it. 7 children, 2 years apart, every one of them 2 years apart. Plus, he made sure that every month there was a birthday. One was born in March, one in April, one in May, one in June, one in July, one in August, one in September. And both of them were October, and they were 3 days apart in October. Now, isn't that wonderful? I still don't know the secret. They never shared the secret with us. So, as time would go by, and they would reminisce on their childhood days, my mom would sing to my dad, "Oh, bachpan ke din bhulana dena, oh, bachpan ke din bhulana dena, aaj hase kal rulana dena, aaj hase kal rulana dena, oh, bachpan ke din bhulana And there was one thing about my dad. He really, really, really loved his wife. She could not be out of his sight for more than 5 minutes. That's the experience we have going on. How are you there? In fact, that was her name. Were you there? And his name was AU. Well, AU evolved now. It's not AU anymore, it's Yo in these times, right? Well, we never heard him call each other love and honey and all these honeyed words and things. You know. But they truly loved each other. My dad wasn't loving my mom until he died. And vice versa. She knew no other man except my dad. And they lived together for 67 years. My dad was the first to go in 2016. He is a regular fixture here this Monday. You all know him very well. He was come here on Father's Day and many other occasions. We celebrated the 50th wedding anniversary here, right here, in the year 2000. And then my mom survived him for a few years after that, and a year ago she passed at almost age 87. The innocence of your love shall endure the very test of time. The purity of your love, the purity of your heart, shall continue to be a shining example for generations to come. They were the true epitome of Sita and Ram. A wife's fidelity towards her husband and his dedication towards her. Together they raised 7 children, 7 of us, and they did a very good job. Because when we look back at our parents' life and our childhood growing up and what they've done for us, no words could be adequate to ever express our gratitude to them. Though gone, but never be forgotten, they'll continue to live in our memories for years to come. And their legacy will live on in the offsprings and the next generations yet to be born. My eldest sister would soon become a great-grandmother. My mom or alive should have been a great-great-grandmother. Well, she is the greatest mother and grandmother of all times. And so, my dear brothers and sisters, sometimes, our memories will fade. Sometimes we tend to become oblivious of things. Sometimes we suffer from dementia and from other brain illnesses. So, I thought it wise that my mom and dad should be represented in something physical, in something tangible, not necessarily a picture, but a physical form of theirs. And at this time, I'm going to invite all my siblings and Pitaji as well. And we're going to unveil tonight, for the very first time, and this is the piece of history that we're going to create here tonight, a replica of these 2 lovebirds that you see there in the picture. These 2 souls that shall remain inseparable for all time. And these 2 souls whom we pay a special tribute to tonight. So please bear with us as we shall now do the necessary. And he is there receiving them. He's in the clouds in the heavens. So here it says Namaste and welcome to this family Yagna. But this is not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be on the easel up there. So someone just put this where it belongs. So Pitaji will recite this Pitri Sutta, and now please pay attention to this unveiling ceremony
हरिः ॐ नमः प्रपितामहभ्यः स्वधा नमः ॐ मधुवातारिताय ते मधुक्षरन्ति सिन्धवः माध्वीर्नः सन्तोषधेः मधुनक्तमुतोखसो मधुपार्थिवगङ्रजः मधुध्यौरस्तु नः पिताः त्वं सोमं प्रचित्कृतो मनीषी त्वं रजिष्टम् अनुनेषि पन्थानं तव प्रणीति पितरो न देवेषु रत्नम् अभजन्त धीराः हरि ओम् आयन्तु पितरः सौम्याश अग्निश्वात्थाः पतिर्भेदेवयानैः अस्मिन् यज्ञे स्वधामदन्तु ब्रुवन्तु ते तस्मात् सब तीरथ है इन चरणों में इनसे लगन लगा लो जय मात पिता जय मात पिता जय मात पिता मात पिता के सेवा करके जीवन सफल बना लो सब तीरथ है इन चरणों में इनसे लगन लगा लो जय मात पिता 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 जब तक के है आकाश पे चांद और सितारे भगवान सलामत रहे माँ बाप तो हमारे कहते हैं रे माँ बाप का दिल जिसने दुखाया आकाश पे भगवान को भी उसने लुभाया दुनिया में हर एक चीज से माँ बाप है प्यारा भगवान सलामत रहे माँ बाप ये तो सच है कि भगवान है मगर फिर भी अनजान है नदी के रूप माँ बाप का उद्विघाता की पहचान है ये तो सच है कि भगवान फिर भी अनजान है नदी के रूप माँ बाप का बुद्धिदाता की पहचान है चरण में जो चार रात की
belong with us. So they'll be here for this Yagna, and Sunday about the conclusion of this Yagna, I'll take them home. They'll be with me. So we want to thank all of you tonight.
Pitaji,
Devotees and friends, I want to thank you all so much once again for coming out tonight to support this wonderful family, the Narine family. Please don't forget to partake in Ojan and our tea and Barjaman before you leave. Tomorrow we're going to start here at the same time, so please come out tomorrow. Please tell your neighbors, your friends, your family to come out, especially members from the PtMohan Mandir. I love to see everybody come out here and support this wonderful family. I'd like to thank Val. Val did some wonderful decoration. You saw this decoration over here, and the decoration over there, Val did that. So please give Val a round of applause. She has been all week doing this wonderful decoration here. So Val, we want to thank you so much. Thank you so much. Please, please all stand for our tea. Thank you so much. Thank you.
गीतार्थगम्भोतकटम् नानाख्यानकेशरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः ते पीयमानं मुदा भूयर्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसनं श्रेयसे व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषम् पराशरात्मनं वन्दे शुकतातं तपोनिधिम् त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव पापोऽहं पापकर्माहं पापात्मा पापसम्भवा त्राहि मां पुण्डरीकाक्षं सर्वपापहरो हरि तत्र एव गङ्गा यमुना च तत्र गोदावरी सिन्धु सरस्वती च सर्वाणि तीर्थानि वसन्ति तत्र यत्राच्युतोदारकथा प्रसङ्गः बालबालपरमाग्रहो हर्षदेव श्रीरङ्ग परसरोजनपावहि भक्ति सरा सत्संगसिया भज रामचंद्र की जय शरणं प्रभु। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरा गुरुर्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे शिरोरुवाय सहस्रनाम्ने पुरुषाय शाश्वते सहस्रकोटि युगधारिणे नमः।